take projection.
To Taking on Sports, I am TD. That is Greg. Greg, how you doing, man?
I'm a little tired of my old man. Did some outside work today, but doing pretty good overall. How about you?
I feel you, man. I feel you. My dog woke me up early this morning because it was storming, and she don't like storms, so I got a
Ah,
couple hours less sleep than I wanted. But
oh,
don't
yeah, I'll do it.
don't recover from it quickly as we.
No, not at all.
Uh,
Not at all.
it's crazy, but it was a good weekend of basketball we had, though. Really good. I guess let's start with the women this time around. UConn claimed their 12th national title
Oh, not you
uh,
tired.
this afternoon. Just beat the hell out of South Carolina. I don't know if I've ever seen a Dawn Staley coach team just that helpless. Uh,
Yeah. Second time they slaughtered them in one season.
mm-hmm.
That's the crazy part.
Yeah, but UConn behind a great effort from, of course, Paige Beckers, and then old girl.
The freshman? My
Yeah,
goodness.
the Zod. What is her name? Damn, I'm forgetting. But that one crossover was woo. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, a great effort from UConn. Their first title since 2016. Uh, back on top of the mountain, and they earned it. They look like the best team for pretty much the whole
The
tournament.
whole,
And
and
yeah.
they ran through pretty much everybody. I mean,
Hmm.
closest game of time, I believe, was 14. To
Yeah.
that USC team without Juju. You have to
But say
wonder
yeah.
how, man,
Hmm.
that would have been a hell of a game if we had got to see that. But nothing, even if she had played, the way that UConn has been rolling, I couldn't even say that they would have lost that because they dominated
Yeah.
absolutely dominated the NCAA tournament. I mean, to be in one weekend to be UCLA and South Carolina by about 30 points each, that's crazy.
Yeah, UCLA, the overall number one seed, of course, and then
Yeah.
South Carolina's South Carolina. They've been
Yeah.
the dominant team in the sport the past 5
Right.
years or so, and
Fifth straight Final Four and
yeah,
went for a second title in like what 3 and 4 years or something.
yeah, and it was. I mean, it was kind of over by the second quarter
Early.
too. It was,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm, complete
but just
domination.
yeah, outstanding effort for them. Um,
Yeah, I
uh,
mean,
pa- Paige Buckets, as I call her. Of
oof,
course, she is, put her name in a conversation for UConn's all-time great. Um,
yeah,
I think she set a couple records. I know she scored that 40-point game was the most of any UConn player in a tournament game, and then
mm-hmm.
I think her tournament per game scoring average was the most in UConn history too. Um, if I saw that
Yeah,
right, yeah.
that's crazy considering all
Hmm.
the people that have gone through there. Man, that's crazy. But I was happy for her though. As much as she's not had the easiest college career with all the injuries and
Hmm.
finally, I mean, they've been to the Final Four a couple times, but they finally got it done there. 37-3 on the year, and one of the most dominating NCAA tournaments in quite some time for a women's
Hmm.
team. Seemed like you kind of old there when they were kind of a one-team wrecking crew.
Hmm.
And within the last decade, the women's game has really picked up a lot more. So, a lot less top heavy, a lot of good teams now, and for UConn to dominate like they did really says a lot about how good this team really was there. But
No, yeah, I mentioned that last title was 2016, and of course they were coming off that was their fourth in a row and their
mm-hmm.
sixth in an 8-year stretch. So that was really the height
Right,
of Gino and UConn's dominance after, of
right,
course, after Pat Summitt retired and
right.
left that gap. But like you said, since then, the women's game has gotten a lot more talent. There's just the players are just so much better than they were even just 10 years ago.
Yeah,
There's
it's
more
amazing talent.
great great players. Like there's more talent to be had, and it's spread out. It's not just
Absolutely.
at one or two programs. It's really spread
Right.
out. But yeah, this is one of men or women's just one of the most dominant tournament runs we've seen, and yeah, it's a damn shame that we didn't get that Juju versus Paige matchup. Um,
Man. Yeah.
the basketball gods robbed us of that one, but
Tuh. I
nonetheless,
mean,
yeah, congrats to UConn and those ladies, and hey, we'll come back next year. And
yeah.
one conversation that I saw throughout the week that I thought was interesting. I wanted to ask you about it. Have you seen this where a lot of people are pushing for ABC, ESPN to move the title game to Sunday night as opposed to doing it in the afternoon? Would you agree with
I,
that?
I think so. I mean, it used to be at night. I remember for a
Hmm.
long time the women's game was Sunday night. I
Yeah.
mean, I agree. I mean, what is it? I mean, I'm sure the numbers were pretty awesome for today. For a women's game, considering the UConn, South Carolina names. But man, yeah, I definitely say put that in prime time. Absolutely. I mean, this time of the year, especially. I mean, what is it going against? I mean, Sunday night baseball.
Yeah, nothing. And I
I
don't know.
mean,
Yeah, and does MLB even doing that? I know they dropped their contract with
yeah, but I think they still do it. I
ESPN,
think they got one more year. I
finishing it
believe
up
they
this
would.
year maybe. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was like the Red Sox game was on Sunday night. I'm pretty sure. See, that
that
just
makes. Oh,
shows.
that's true. No, you're right. Yeah, I remember the Braves played on it last weekend. I watched them.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that
no, yeah, it's
just
early season. It's
that's.
what the second week of baseball. Yeah, you're
I
not
mean, people, no one. I mean,
fighting
it's
that.
not
Yeah.
going. I mean, you're not going against the NBA playoffs. You're not going against even NHL playoffs. It's regular season,
Hmm.
April baseball. I mean, some people are gonna watch, of course, but I mean, no, I mean it's not live or die. So absolutely perfect spot for prime time women's basketball. Um,
No, I
I
agree.
mean,
Oh, go ahead.
no, I was saying, I mean, I don't mind it being at the 2:30 spot, but I mean, it just seems weird to have a national title game in the middle of the day. I don't know.
No, I agree. And the best argument I saw for it is your target audience. Of course, any basketball fans, and of course they want to
Yeah.
grab casuals. But this time of year, especially with the weather nice, people are going to go out on a Sunday afternoon.
No, yeah.
They're going to go to the park, do whatever they do.
Right.
Probably go. If you're a baseball fan, you're going to go see a live Sunday afternoon baseball game.
Right.
But your target audience is young girls, specifically ones that want to play basketball, that do play basketball.
Right.
And on a Sunday afternoon, they're either going to be probably playing in an AAU tournament if they're good, or
Right.
doing something, or they're going to be out
Practicing.
themselves. Yeah, they're going to be out themselves because, like I said, it's a nice
Yeah.
day. So
Right.
yeah, it doesn't have to be one of these dumb, start the game at 9 o'clock Eastern.
No, I mean, even at
But
6:37,
exactly, yeah.
over by 9:30. I mean,
Hmm. Yeah, the women's game goes fast. It's they move it along. Yes, I agree with you. I think it deserves that primetime feeling too. It just feels bigger and under
yeah,
the bright
absolutely.
lights, and it's not like you're playing outside, so it's not like you're missing a
Yeah.
beautiful
You're
day if
not.
you're in an
Right.
arena.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it just seems, I don't know, it just seems weird. I mean, the Friday night games are on in prime time, so why wouldn't the national title game be on prime time?
Yeah, yeah, it's a very
Kind of weird.
interesting. Yeah,
And when did that
but yeah,
when did that change exactly? Because for the longest, the women's game was always Sunday night. I don't know. I'm
yeah, I don't.
looking, it's like five so years. It seems like for the longest,
Yeah,
it was a nighttime primetime game.
I couldn't tell you when that change happened. But yeah, again, congrats to UConn. Another
So
great year in women's basketball, a sport that's growing. Paige
absolutely,
is probably top pick in the WNBA draft,
yeah, for sure,
and hopefully she can, keep this good health going and have a long, successful career. And
absolutely. But that's the biggest thing with women. The women's game,
mhm.
it really is helping it too is the fact that due to the lack of WNBA pay, I mean, who wouldn't stay 4 or 5 years in college? I mean, you're gonna
Absolutely,
make way
yeah.
more in a season at the UConn or South Carolina, USC, et cetera, compared to the, I mean, 75,000 for a professional athlete. I mean, that's the tops. That's what like Caitlin Clark makes a year. I mean, not the no money in a regular lifestyle. Yeah, none of us downplay. I mean, 75 or 75 to start out of college, but when you're a pro athlete, that seems very low. And I doubt there's very few top women's players that are making ble- probably way more than that in 1 year of at the college level, which just sounds very weird. I mean, I get, of course, they're not going to make what the men make because of just a revenue difference. It's not possible. But it seems so weird that you can make more, so much more as an amateur compared to when you're to the top professional level. Just seems so backwards.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, let's
Yeah.
switch things to the men's side of things. Of course, Final Four, the semifinals were Saturday night. First up, Florida outlasted Auburn. Took down the number
Wow.
one overall seed. Good back and forth game. Florida took control late, and another great effort from a dude whose name I forget every time. I really need to start writing it down, but Florida star.
Clay? Yeah.
Yeah, Clayton. And every time I'm like,
Absolutely.
I want to call him Wendell Porter, and I'm like, that's not right. Yeah,
Absolutely.
he has made himself some money this tournament.
Absolutely.
Big shots, big defensive plays. Held off Auburn at the end there, and they go on
Hmm.
to the national title game to face not the Duke Blue Devils, who, I mean, we just got to say it, choked away a 14-point lead. Only hit one field goal over the last 10
Jeez.
minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Uh, and still really
So,
kind of were controlling it in the last minute of the game, and then just a furious
absolutely.
comeback by Houston, a
Hmm.
three, a steal, a putback dunk, and then controversy. Uh, Duke misses. They get fouled. They get a one and
Yeah.
one, miss the front end of it, and Cooper Flag gets called for an over the back foul. That, ooh,
Mm.
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Yes.
Tough call, but and Houston goes to hit their free throws. You get a couple of foul shots after Duke misses another shot, and Houston comeback win, and they will be in the title game to face Florida. Tough way to lose if you're Duke,
It
but
is.
you can't. Like I said, one field goal made in the last 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
You have
Against
nobody to
the,
blame but yourselves.
yeah. Especially
Yeah.
against a team like Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that was amazing comeback. They were down what 9 with like a minute 30. I mean, it
Yeah.
was so over. And really, I mean, they had worked hard to even get it two because they went on like a 10-0 run to cut it like 4 or 6 with like 3 minutes left. And they fought back, and then Duke kind of answered, and I was like, well, that's kind of like the Alabama game. We did hit a little run, but then they would answer and drop it back up to double digits, and there we go. Duke's obviously going to the title game. I mean, and they just fell apart there. I mean, just completely fell apart, and some of it, I think, even though those freshmen are great, they're still freshmen. Those veteran
Yeah.
Houston guys, they were
Yeah.
clutch in the moment, very cool, calm, collected, never rattled. And man, we're clutching the biggest moments to close the game out. The defense really got to Duke there.
Oh, it was great
But
defense on that last shot too by Flag. That
absolutely,
they just bottled him up, forced him into a
yeah,
tough kind of fadeaway, and
yeah,
and then got the rebound. Uh,
yeah. I really thought it was over when the after the Houston dude got the technical foul when he slapped the ball.
Oh
on the
yeah,
inbounds pass. I was like, oh my god, that's game over right here.
yeah.
And
The
then,
like the truest sense of a technical foul.
yeah, I was like,
Not mouthing back to the
jeez,
referee, not getting mad,
yeah,
just
no,
inadvertently, really, just hitting the
in the
ball while that
inbound.
guy out of
Oh,
bounds had it on the inbound. Yeah,
I was like, oh wow, that's a tough way to lose. And
yeah,
that seemed
exactly.
to
Yeah.
ignite them. I mean, the defense went to a different level. They hit all those shots, and Duke, missed free throws, missed the shots, and man, crazy ending. Who would have ever thought that Duke would have lost that with that lead at a minute 30? Just
Yeah, no.
crazy.
Yeah,
No,
you just waiting for Flag to make a big shot for
yeah,
old dude to
Knipple,
make
they
a
hit one.
yeah, Knipple to make a big three, something like
Yeah,
that. But
something.
it just didn't drop, and then they got the
Uh,
free throw, and you got to hit the front end of a 1-and-1.
Absolutely.
That's basketball. Just that's
And
in the
usually,
basketball
and
Bible.
usually
Yeah.
Duke's a good free throw shooting team. I mean, they're known.
Yeah.
And man, not last night late.
Yeah.
Man, the pressure come maybe just got to them. It had been a while since they had a close game, so I don't know. Maybe that ended up hurting them in the long run. Who knows? But kudos to the Cougars going to that's their first national title game in quite some time. I mean, they've been
Is
there
it?
a couple times in
Is
the
it?
Final
I was
Four.
about to say, is it the first since the NC State upset in '83?
They were 1-1 since, and I thought Akeem and them 1-1.
Maybe they won one the next year or something like that,
Yeah,
but it's definitely
but
first
it's
since the
been
'80s. Yeah.
yeah, because they've been to the Final Four a couple times, but always
Yeah.
lost in the semis. So
Yeah.
yeah,
The old five slamma jamma years.
yeah,
Yeah, and they made the
I'm,
Final Four what 2 3 years ago.
yeah,
But yeah, and so interesting matchup.
yeah.
Monday night. Everyone kind
Fuck
of
that.
assumed we were going to get Florida Duke,
Yeah,
and Houston slips in there, and we got a kind of similar opponent for them at least. Florida and Duke have a
yeah.
lot of
I mean,
similarities.
a lot of length, a lot of depth, and see, on paper, just some a lot of people thought they were outmatched against Duke, and arguably maybe they were for about 35 plus minutes of that game. But man, yeah, who knows how Monday's gonna go now? I mean,
It is interesting contrast in styles too. That
very
Florida
much,
plays that real fast up tempo.
yeah,
So it'd be interesting to see how that Houston defense handles the
yeah.
Gator offense, and then yeah, as you mentioned, the Gator length. But Houston just kind of they seem like not
Find ways to
necessarily a team
win.
of destiny, but yeah, they're finding ways. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
winning.
it's never the prettiest, but man, just very always fun. Usually fundamentally sound, and they didn't shoot well for most of the game until they until they needed it the most, and they got hot.
No, yeah, yeah, but it doesn't matter if
How you do it?
the only it only matters that you're ahead on the scoreboard at the end of the game.
Absolutely, it's all
Yeah,
that matter.
yeah. Do you have a prediction for the game? Who do you think is going to come out on top?
I mean, I've had the Gators the whole time, so I'm gonna just stick with it. I mean, honestly, I, I would prefer, I would like to see Houston win. I mean, you think how long Kelvin Sampson's been coaching there? I mean, that'd be awesome. I think it's somewhat near the end of his career. So, I mean, perfect time for
Yeah,
him to win the title because I mean, you never know when you're gonna get back to the Final Four. It's just that
e-
tough, no matter how good
exactly.
of a
Yeah.
program you have going. So, I mean, I would like to see it. I mean, just for that purpose more than anything. I mean, I think Florida just seems like the team that's fine. They're another team that found ways to win. I mean, big comeback against UConn. I mean, the big comeback against Texas Tech. I mean, both games, and they were seemed destined to lose. And of course, down early to Auburn. I mean, Auburn was rolling in the first half there. Seemed like they were on their way to their first championship game, and Florida, does what Florida does. I mean, they close out the game. At the end, Auburn seemed a little rattled, and Florida was clutch down the stretch. I mean, it seemed like though that Auburn was getting all the calls. Like no matter they got some questionable calls.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
Seemed like they were getting all the calls, but Florida overcame that and closed things out. Had all the clutch shots, and so Walter Clayton, seems to be the closer of the tournament when the game's on the line. I mean, he's answered every round.
Yeah, no. The most impressive thing to me was the Florida defense. Just
Mm-hmm.
those are the type of games this year that Auburn has just found a way to pull out.
Mm-hmm.
And as an Alabama fan, it's annoying to just watch them. You would
Yeah,
think, oh, they're going to lose this game, and then they hit a big shot, get a turnover, or a
yeah,
good defensive
absolutely.
stand, hit another big shot. It's just they just had this poise in the end, and like you said, Florida rattled them.
Yeah,
There's some frustration. Yeah, Broome had that,
Broom got
shoved the guy in the
frustrated.
back. Yeah, at the
Yeah.
end there. Still,
Mhm.
nothing to be ashamed of this season for them, the
Nah,
Tigers. Absolutely great season. Arguably the
yeah,
best in their school history.
yeah. I mean, couple plays from a national title game. I mean,
Yeah,
arguably the best year the SEC's ever had, and they, from 90% of the season, dominated the SEC.
yeah,
Won by a couple of games there, but struggled at the end of the season. Had a couple of straight losses after they won the SEC regular season, and then found themselves in the tournament and kind of had it, kind of dominant. No super close games until yesterday. I mean, there was no question
mhm.
that Auburn was phenomenal throughout till about the last 5 minutes of the game. And Florida kind
Yeah.
of
No, yeah, you mentioned it. All their tournament games up until here, they might have gotten close in the first half, or with like
yeah,
12 minutes left in the game. But when it came down to those last 5, 6, 7 minutes, they put it
yeah,
on lockdown and they just closed out
absolutely,
games.
absolutely.
So good effort by the Gators. They go on to play Houston. I have
Should
Houston in
be.
the bracket, so that's where I hope win, and I get that. I get that group win, and then if the
Wow,
Gators win, it's going to be I'm a Woman, I'm 40, which I think, I haven't confirmed this, but I think that might actually be Mallory's entry.
that makes sense.
Yeah. She didn't do her usual, Rebel Mal or some name, but I think that might be her. We will see. It's Monday night. Should be a good one.
Absolutely.
As for our tide, of course, we were put out by Duke last week, but not an uneventful week at all for the tide. The transfer portal was
Very
flying.
busy.
Pulled in, let's see, I got the names right here. Pulled in, of course, Noah Williamson, the big center from Bucknell. He's a good replacement for Big Cliff down there.
Yeah.
Taylor Bowen, the forward from Florida State, another big body too. He's
6'10".
like, big 6'10" forward there.
Yeah.
And then Jaleel Bethea from Miami, a big 6'5"
Yeah.
guard. Drawing some comparisons to Aiden Holloway, not necessarily in style of play or size or anything, but and just that he's a 5-star recruit.
Yeah.
Went to a good program, but maybe it just wasn't a right fit for him.
Right.
And looking for a place where he can turn his kind of career around and
Right. I can
pick
see
back
it.
up. Been reading up on him. We got that commit. That was that yesterday? Or that might have been just today.
That was today. No,
Yeah,
this
that was
afternoon.
today. A lot of people are excited about that pickup. Of course, coming in from Miami. So yeah, it's interesting. It's what we need. We need a little more length at guard, and
Absolutely.
that's it. And then of course, the other half of the portal is keeping guys too. And we had
We did a good overall. We did a good job keeping folks.
commitments from Aiden Holloway, Latrell Reitzel, and Houston Millette,
Yeah.
and
And
Aiden Sherrill. Yeah.
yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, those are big. Of course, Reitzel and Millette will get medical red shirts.
All right.
It's not guaranteed, but it is more than likely that they'll get those red shirts.
Absolutely.
And then, unfortunately, there is also the other side of the portal, and we had to say goodbye to Mo Diabate.
Man.
which could be a big loss. He is in the portal. He hasn't committed anywhere yet, so maybe there's a miracle chance he comes
Come
back.
back.
But that's one guy we talked about. Not wanting to lose in the portal.
Yeah,
Just he's that kind of motor guy, that glue guy,
absolutely.
the
Absolutely.
definition of blue collar
Probably.
basketball. But
Mm-hmm.
maybe he feels that his
I think
services would
he
be
just
better
wants
somewhere
us.
else. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously he wants to start. I mean, I'm
Hmm.
sure he
Yeah.
does. I mean, he's had 2 years there. I mean, phenomenal defensive player the whole time. We know how a hustle guy. I mean, fits well with that. Like you said, the blue collar style. I mean, he's gonna get that hard hat award multiple times season just because his style and he's doing first on the ground to get a thing. When he's quick to grab the loose balls, make all the little plays. Maybe not always the biggest stat stuffer, but the little things. I mean, he's phenomenal at. Um, Even his offense really, I thought, came around his sophomore year. I mean, he got way more
He had some
consistent
big
with his
shots this
shooting.
year. Yeah.
He did way more consistent with his shooting there. I would not if he is going somewhere. I mean, I would not be shocked. I mean, he's from Queens, so I mean, St. Johnson's would seem like a perfect fit for him. I mean, tough. I think a Rick Pitino style player. You know,
Hmm.
so I wouldn't be shocked if that. If he would end up in a place like that. I think they would. Any program would be. I think would be lucky to get Mo Diabate. I mean, I have nothing negative to say about the guy. I mean, we've been high on him for the whole
No.
time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No. Yeah. I wish all the
I would
best to him. Hope he goes to
absolutely
anywhere just
and have
way outside of the
yeah,
SEC, of
yeah,
course.
just have the SEC,
Yeah.
please. Yeah, I would not want to
Yeah.
go against him a couple times a year,
No.
maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Don't go to Kentucky. Don't go to Auburn, Florida. No, get out the
yeah.
conference. But wish him nothing but the best. I appreciate everything he brought to Tuscaloosa, and yeah,
Yeah. And still, hoping for that miracle, that change of
yeah,
heart. But
all right.
otherwise, roster shaping up to be pretty good. I think we might have one more spot open.
Yeah, I think so.
So we'll see what happens there. If there's
We shall
another
see.
portal
Right.
entry, it seems, I don't know if we're gonna lose everyone else.
Yeah,
It seems
I
with
don't
all those
know.
commitments, maybe Jared Stevenson might be the only one who hasn't really committed
Yeah,
to coming back.
him
But
and of course and what's that seems more and more like a lottery pick.
oh yeah, LeBaron Philon. Yeah, I keep
Yeah,
reading these mock drafts hoping he slips, but every time I read one, he's like
he
seventh or
seems
eighth.
pretty high.
So
Yeah, I mean,
um,
I think, I mean, being maybe a little selfish, I don't know. I mean, I think
yeah.
he's probably towards the end of the lottery round.
Hmm.
I think if he stayed an extra year and is the guy, I mean, he could be a first round, I mean, a top five pick next year. But I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
that's definitely interesting. You wonder if that's obviously, you're going to get your draft grade from the
Right.
scouts and stuff like that, and you'll go off that. But yeah, to be selfish as Alabama fans, you hope that someone gets in his ear and says, "Hey, stay, get another year of polish," and
Yeah. Get,
you
get some
also,
get some
yeah,
money and
yeah, get some
Mhm.
NIL money, and then you also hope that maybe something inside of him does want to be the man on the team because he knows
right.
if he goes to the league, he's gonna maybe G League for a little bit, or he's gonna
Who knows? Who
you
knows?
know just come off
Depends
the
where you go.
bench.
Right.
Yeah, it depends where he goes. Yeah, where you're drafted. So maybe there's maybe something inside of him that he knows if he comes back, he's the man on the team next
Right.
year, and
Absolutely.
we'll see. We of course would love to have him back and his
Oh, absolutely.
offensive skill set and his
Mhm.
defensive motor. He plays hard. He is
Yeah.
a guy that
He
plays hard
does.
the entire
He
time he's
definitely
on the court.
does. Yeah. He kind of hit a freshman wall, seemed to at times in maybe
Hmm.
January, February. But man, he really came along in March again. I mean, he was
Yeah.
probably one of our more consistent scorers at the end of the season,
Yeah,
and had
absolutely.
a had a
He's a
very solid NCAA tournament.
absolutely, yeah.
And that
Yeah,
may have
really
helped
bumped his
him.
grade up. Yeah, that's it
Right.
was good.
That might be one of the reasons he might not come back is that NCAA
Yeah,
tournament.
one of those double-edged sword things, but we'll see. That'll be what we're watching for this
Right.
week. Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, elsewhere in Bama sports this week, both.
Not the best.
Oh, hold on. Looks like my headphones died on me here.
Mm.
But you can
Wasn't the
still hear me though,
best.
right?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, there you go. Lost and Bama sports this week. That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
We got baseball. Took one from Samford early in the week,
Mm-hmm.
and then lost 2 of 3 to Auburn over on the Plains.
Yeah. Bad Friday loss.
And then
Yikes.
softball also lost 2 of 3 to LSU this weekend. So
Yeah.
rough week for. Yeah.
Tough week, especially for the baseball team. I mean, man, that was disappointing the way they lost Friday night. Got run ruled, put up 10,
Yeah. Never.
got slaughtered there. Now, came back one Saturday and then came a little bit short in that second doubleheader Saturday night. Yeah, and the softball team. I mean, it's a good LSU team, a top five team there. But yeah, would have liked to have gone two, but closed out the weekend was Sunday, and then if you're on the other sport that really came along late, the gymnastics team back to the NCAA championships in Fort Worth next week. Came
Yeah,
through
absolutely.
phenomenal. Kind of had a tougher season. Maybe not as dominant as what we've seen in the past, but came through this past weekend and made it to the another national. May not win the title, but another phenomenal run to the national title. I mean, that's probably been one of our most consistent. That and softball, the two most consistent non-football sports. But how good they've been over the decades.
Yeah, no, for sure. I believe it's their 40th nationals
Jeez,
program history. Which, yeah,
phenomenal.
geez, that's exactly what you say there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was set to mention that too, but yeah, absolutely. Awesome job by gymnastics to come back too. They were in third place after the
Mhm.
first round of the meet and came back and got one of those top 2 spots,
Yeah.
which gets you into the national semifinals. So we'll see how they do in Fort Worth.
Right.
Hopefully they can,
Phenomenal run.
bring home another national title. Elsewhere in the world of sports, football, nothing really newsworthy going on, but have been reading a lot of good things about our wide receiver room, particularly Isaiah Horton, the
Oh,
transfer from
yeah.
Miami.
Heard good things there.
Yeah, it seems a lot of people watching practice this
Like what
week
they're
are,
saying.
really high on our receiver room. That trio, Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, and then Isaiah Horton could be
So, yeah.
real dangerous. And a lot of people seem to think, too, that Ty Simpson has kind of control of that starter job for now.
And that's good for him. I mean, he's been in the
Yeah.
program for a while, and well, we shall see.
Yeah.
I think hopefully, I would like to see someone lock it down and just be the guy the whole season, just because I think you have more stability that way. You don't. I don't really like going into the season and kind of it could be. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see someone lock it up there. Obviously Keelan's going to be the face later on. If he doesn't have to play as a true freshman, that's even better.
Yeah, if he, I guess, if he doesn't play, your best case scenario is that he, red shirts.
Right.
Austin Mack takes control of that backup, or if he doesn't win the starting job, but we don't redshirt him. Your best case scenario is that he gets meaningful game time.
Right. Right.
You
Absolutely.
know. But yeah, just a little report coming out of the football practices and
Yeah.
training and stuff, spring practices. But yeah, elsewhere in the world of sports, baseball rolling along, second week. I have no damn idea what the hell's up with the Braves.
Finally won again, huh?
Yeah,
I know they
finally
beat.
won. Yeah, did win 10-0 Friday night. Lost Saturday, but Sunday's game was postponed. But finally won. So
uh,
he won in 8 start to the season is not exactly what Braves fans had on their bingo cards.
oh,
Of course, no team that has started the season 0-7 has made the playoffs. So
hmm,
we'll see. Long season, but
yeah.
rough start for the Braves fans
Okay.
between starting the season without Acuna and Strider, and then Jackson Profar. Their big
Mm.
free agent signing gets suspended for 80 games.
Yikes. Yeah.
Reynaldo Lopez goes on the DL and will have surgery. So rough start
Well,
for the Braves. Your
yeah.
Yanks still looking good. Aaron Judge is just smashing the ball.
Yeah. It's going well so far. But
Yeah, Max
you know,
Fried looked better in his second start.
right.
Elsewhere
Yeah, it's
around the league,
just
the Dodgers are the Dodgers,
mm,
annoyingly so. Yeah,
yeah, pretty much.
but yeah. Then after that, I'll be honest, I don't really have much in my. Oh wait, no, I know what I do. Today we have a new all-time goal king in
We
hockey.
do. Yeah.
Alex Ovechkin surpassed. He had a flurry of goals this week and surpassed
Yeah, dude.
Wayne Gretzky. So he's now 895 career goals. He is the all-time goal scorer. He's got a couple weeks left to try to hit that 900 mark too.
Dude.
And what will, not to speculate, you would assume maybe he's definitely getting toward the end of his career. Don't know if this would be his last season or not, but
Yeah, it's been an
um,
amazing career.
mm,
But it's still
yeah,
crazy, like you pointed out, and I was looking at it today. Just even though Gretzky's no longer the all-time goalie, just how far he still's ahead in the assist category is
hmm
just ridiculous. He's like 700 up above the next person.
oh yeah, it's
It's
absolutely insane
wild.
the number of assists he had. Like I think I said he has more assists than the second place all-time point scorer has. So
Yeah,
he has
that's
more
wild.
assists than anyone has combined goals and assists.
Yeah,
It just really really drives home how good of a player he was. But yeah,
absolutely.
congrats to Ovechkin. Definitely, now the most prolific goal scorer in NHL history. Dangerous man, of course, came in the league around the same time. Sidney Crosby.
Right.
Two guys they really helped reinvigorate the league after the '04
Absolutely.
lockout that
Yeah.
you know chased away guys like me. I was a huge
Yeah.
Penguins fan. Growing up, and that '04 lockout kind of just killed my love for the NHL. It just kind of they had two lockouts and within the span of like 3 years or something. It was just ridiculous. But like I said, I always love hockey, and we're coming up on the playoffs, and a few
Yeah.
things. Playoff hockey is up there with
Oh yeah. Phenomenal.
yeah, any type.
Again, you can put it with anything. Put it
Yeah.
up against anything there. I mean, you're
hmm
gonna great atmospheres, the effort, the hits. I mean, it's
Yeah.
phenomenal. Yeah, and it's one of those things you don't even necessarily have to know everything going on, and you're still gonna. If you're a sports fan anyway, you're gonna enjoy it. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You never watched NHL playoffs before, man. It's phenomenal.
hmm Well, yeah. Other than that, I'll be honest. I didn't really watch any NBA this week. It's a lot of work and stuff going
Yeah.
on. I did see, of course, Dwight Howard and Carmelo Anthony will be in the Hall of Fame class this
All the
year.
time.
Of course, Melo deserves it. One of the best scorers of this generation, and a little underappreciated.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, probably should have got Rookie of the Year when it was him and Braun. Honestly,
Honestly, yeah, probably should have, but Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard's one of those guys that I personally just never got. I can't acknowledge how
Mhm.
great of a defensive player he was in his prime. And he carried those Magic teams to the finals.
The
They had no
Lakers,
shot
yeah,
but
what
beating those,
20
what,
was that
the Lakers. Is
2010?
that who they played? Yeah. Yeah, that Kobe,
Right. Yeah, they
that
were
Kobe Paul Gasol
tough.
era Lakers.
Still got him there. I mean, they
But
able to beat LeBron and them. So, I mean,
a lot of, yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of people.
after that, kind of had an unceremonious career after he left Orlando. I would
Uh,
say, he was in LA for a little bit, other spots. But
yeah.
that time in Orlando, I mean, he was probably very kind of underappreciated for just how good he was. He's a walking double double for the longest.
Hmm. Yeah. No, yeah, he was very consistent for a while. He was good. Um, he's just one of those guys that I look at in his career. He's
Yeah.
never going to enter my conversation for like one of the all time greats.
No.
But congrats to
Yeah.
him. I'm not trying to slander him. Just it was one of those. Just my personal opinion. Also in the class,
Yeah.
WNBA names: Sue
It's a
Bird, Maya
phenomenal
Moore,
class
Sylvia
overall.
Fowles. Of course, Sue Bird, one of. Yeah, no, really good. Billy Donovan is going to make it.
Yeah.
Two-time
Yeah.
NCAA champ
Yeah, I
coach,
think, yeah,
current
he's still
coach of the
there.
Bulls, right? Is he still coaching the Bulls? Yeah.
Mhm. Has
Uh-huh.
some decent playoff runs.
Um, let's see. Miami Heat, Mickey Arison, the front office guy, and
Nice.
then longtime referee Danny Crawford. So yeah, that is like you said, that's a pretty solid class.
Yeah.
Enshrinement is
Talking about the
in
Hall of Fame,
September.
though, that is one thing that I wish that they would have a NBA Hall of Fame and a College Hall of Fame like every other sport does. Just because there's certain guys
Yeah.
that would, that they combine everything and maybe not necessarily, I don't know. Some guys feel like they're not really a Hall of Fame type of guy, necessarily for the pro, but they had excellent college careers. And I just wish that
Mm-hmm.
they would have both. So maybe the NBA would be a little tougher, but overall,
Yeah.
I can't really complain about this class. I mean, obviously everybody, Carmelo and Dwight obviously have enough to have made it there, but that's always something I wonder why we don't have both, a college and pro and I
Mm-hmm.
understand the pro international probably combine that, but man, it should. I think it'd be. We have the College Football Hall of Fame. We have the NFL Hall of Fame. Why not have it for college as well? Yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. Um. But yeah, that's where let's see. Did we when we recorded last? I don't believe that
No, he hadn't. No, he
had
hadn't.
Buzz taken the
Wait a little
Maryland job
bit.
yet. I can't
That's
remember.
yeah.
No, yeah. Yeah, Buzz Williams leaving Texas A&M to
They
go to
got the Stanford
Maryland, so that
coach.
A&M job is open. Um,
It's A&M
they
Stanford.
what?
Yeah.
Oh, they did. Oh yeah,
Hey,
Bucky.
that's
That's right. Bucky
phenomenal.
Ball's coming to Aggieland. Um, no, yeah, that's a good hire. It was
I
rumored
think he
that Chris
was.
Beard
I
was
think he
getting a
reached
heavy
out to
look for a
A&M
while,
first.
but he
I
he
think he
opted
reached
to
out to
stay at
A
Ole
and
Miss.
M. That's what I heard on like radio
Oh
shows
yeah.
that he reached out to A&M, and then maybe that was just getting to Ole Miss to throw him
Hmm.
some more money or whatever they needed to do to keep him there. But I mean, that would have been a phenomenal hire for Texas A&M. Kind of finally get back at Texas for the different hires there. But anyway, yeah. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
wild though. All these college coaches that. Made the NCAA tournament and then still moved around. It's not, especially if, big programs. You don't,
Yeah.
a successful A&M season, a successful Maryland season, and usually you wouldn't see those type of coaches go anywhere. But obviously, there's some issues in Maryland. So man, they obviously have some NIL issues, and we'll
Yeah.
see what
Hmm.
it
Yeah,
goes.
and they lost their best
Right,
player. He Queen
no
is
shock.
did
That's
declare for the draft, which
definitely lottery pick.
no surprise there. He's yeah, he's, yeah,
Right,
definitely. Yeah, his size, his skill. Yeah, he's definitely could use a little
right.
more polish. But yeah, of
But
course
I mean, I
he's
think that
ready to
may
go
fit
pro.
Buzz a little better. I don't
Um.
know. He never seemed like a Aggie guy. I don't. He always seemed more of an East Coast guy to me. So,
Hmm.
so I think this fits him better. But I don't
Yeah.
know if it's the best time to go to Maryland because I think he's has gonna have a lot to clean up there.
Hmm. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. And the only other, I guess, notable to me, the thing I had noted from the world of sports, Southampton officially will be relegated from the Premier League. They are the earliest team to be relegated in Premier League history. So not a record you want to have. There are still 7 games left to play, and they already know they're going down. It's the earliest relegation in league history, beating the record held by Ipswich Town and Derby County. So unfortunate for Southampton,
Right.
a team that had
Yeah.
many solid years up in the top level. Very much a feeder club, as they say. A lot of great talents.
Right.
Talents have come out of
So,
Southampton, and of
yeah.
course the big clubs come and scoop them up. But
That's
just
gotta that
something of
money's
note from
gotta
the
hurt
world of
when
soccer.
you move down like
And
that. Just oh,
yeah, dubious record. Yeah, tough for the fans too. To know you had the worst, but they did. Watching them play, of course, a couple times this year. When they play Arsenal and seeing a couple of their games, yeah,
right.
they're rough this year. Not a good year. But that is all I had in my notes.
Yeah.
Anything
I
from the
did
world of
see
sports you
something,
wanted to touch
and I
on?
guess since re-adding it, but I guess people were up in arms. They removed Roberto Clemente's little thing from the wall in Pittsburgh. I guess you're gonna add
Yeah,
it back.
yeah, yeah.
Apologize to the family, but like, why would you ever touch that? Like, I don't understand. Maybe the greatest pirate of all time.
Yeah, that was.
I don't know.
Yeah, for anyone who didn't see that, the Pirates have had like a big sign, big
It's like
little memorial
22.
thing to Roberto Clemente out on their outfield wall, and yeah, and they just decided to take it away and put an advertisement up there, and
Most
the
everybody
Clemente
was
family was
pissed.
not happy about it, and they spoke out, and pirate, yeah, pirate fans not happy about it. I can tell you, as someone who's known, my one of my dad's ex girlfriends from way back when I was little.
Mhm.
They were from
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, Steeler country, Western PA. She was the one that got me into hockey. Actually, the reason I was a Penguins fan growing up. And I can tell you from knowing people
Yeah.
Roberto
As he
Clemente
should
is
be. I mean,
worshipped like a god.
seemed
To
like a
Pirate
phenomenal
fans, to
guy.
Pittsburgh fans, yeah.
Seemed like a phenomenal guy.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've never heard or read a single bad word
No.
about him, either as a player or as just a human being. Famously, he died in a plane crash on his
Yeah.
way to help victims of an earthquake in his Nicaragua. So yeah, so it's good to see. I
Yeah.
actually hadn't seen that they're gonna
They're planning
put
to
it
re-add it.
back, so
I was
that's
like,
good.
geez, like what? How did that
Um,
even happen? Like, what are we doing?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like it's just chill, chill. But yeah, it just another story. Sometimes guys, you don't need every
Some
single
things should be
dollar and
left
cent you
alone.
can get. Sometimes just leave the
Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes just leave things alone. But yeah, let's wrap it up there. Look at this, coming in under an hour this
An
week.
hour.
But yeah, Greg, what has been done up real good for you this week?
Man, I'd probably just say, you know, just the Final Four for the men's Final Four. I mean, it lived up to all the hype. I mean, we got two phenomenal games. The women's tournament. I mean, the women's Final Four. I thought we'd get some games and got three blowouts, but I mean, still phenomenal matchups. I mean, it's exactly who you want to see in the Final Four. I mean, on both sides. I mean, three number ones on the women's side, and obviously UConn could have easily been a number one, and of course the four number one on the men's lived up to all the hype. So I mean, I think it was a little top heavy, maybe not as the upsets, but I mean down the stretch we got some phenomenal basketball, so that's fine. How about you?
I'm just gonna say the time of year in general.
Um,
Springtime weather. Did have some storms today that
mhm.
my poor dog woke me up. Like I said, just really early.
Yeah.
But it's been generally good weather. Like you said, good sports, basketball, beginning of baseball season, getting
Hmm.
close to the NBA and NHL
Playoffs.
playoffs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great time of year.
yeah, great
Yeah,
time of year. And
golfing. Yeah, the
then
Masters coming up.
exactly, yeah, the Masters always. Even if you're not a diehard golf fan, they're
Yeah,
always
so
worth keeping an eye on.
absolutely.
Coming up on WrestleMania season.
Oof. Yeah,
Or we're in WrestleMania
we're
season
in
and
the
coming up
season.
on
We're
the
getting on it.
yeah. AEW has a pay per view going on as we record right now.
Mhm.
So yeah, good. Just the general good time
Great
of
time
year.
of year.
Uh,
Absolutely.
uh, but yeah, that does it for us. Of course, this is that. Also, speaking of time of year, this is the time of year I head down to New Orleans. We do that. We leave tomorrow morning for our 6 week. Uh, a little 6 week stay down there as we work the Jazz Fest down there. So
Nice.
we will, of course, I'll test out that internet connection this year. It was choppy last year. We're staying in the same place, so hopefully it got better. Uh, but I'll test it out this week and keep y'all updated on if we'll be able to record. And if not, we'll just let you know when we'll be back. From our little spring hiatus, but usually works out fine. There's just not too much. We usually come right back in time for the NBA
Right.
playoffs and stuff to
Yep.
kick off. So,
Absolutely.
uh, but yeah, keep an eye on the social medias for that update. Um, as always, check out the AlabamaTake.com. You can find good writings there. You can find all of the podcasts in the Alabama Take family of podcast. Tell your friends about us. Tell your rich friends about us. You got a business, want to sponsor us, holler at us there. If you want to start your own podcast, email the Alabama Take at gmail.com and, pitch your idea to Blaine. And he's more than willing. We're looking for some, movies. I think maybe a politic podcast, whatever you got. If you got something in mind, just go right ahead. And that you could check out Greg. You're on the Bama Hammer, right? So you're putting
Yep.
out a bunch of content there. If you want to find Greg out there on the internet,
So
and if you're coming down to Jazz Fest this year, holler at me. Hit me up on social. I'll be out there.
nice.
I'll come say hey to you.
Good times.
Honestly, I wish I could tell you the big names, but we're just so involved in the work. I don't even know. I know some names. I know Lil Wayne and the Roots are playing.
That's true.
Uh, I think that's the first Saturday. Yeah, that'll be a fun one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a
Heard.
good time of season.
Yeah, I've
So
never been. I've never been, but I mean, out here, Jazz Fest is a great time.
it is, man. It's a very unique music festival in that it's got so much going on. I mean, there are like what 11 stages, ranging from, of course, the big name acts. Like I said, Lil Wayne and your huge acts. Like the Rolling Stones last year. You get your big
Mhm.
names like that, and it goes down to locals. There's the cultural heritage stage. They pick a different country every year, and and not just musically, but there's food. Food is a huge part of the
Oh,
course, being in
absolutely.
New Orleans, of course. But you're not going to come here and find pizza or funnel cakes and fried stuff. Like, you're getting New
Uh,
Orleans food, and you're going
absolutely.
there, you're getting gumbo and crawfish, and it's delicious. You can't go wrong. We have
Right.
people all the time ask us where the best place to eat is. I'm like, man, just go pick a booth.
Yep.
Like,
You're gonna find the
um,
greatness everywhere. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it is always a good time. And there's a couple guaranteed things. You're gonna have a good time. You're gonna eat a good meal, and there's gonna be at least one day where it's just hotter than hell, and there's gonna be one day where it's gonna rain, and you're gonna be
Yeah.
slopping around in the mud. So, but it's always a fun time for us.
Absolutely.
That's for everyone else. Like I said, check out Greg on Bama Hammer. Follow us on the socials. We're on all of them. I'll try to keep talking through it, and I'll let y'all know this week. I'll test out that internet and see if we'll maybe be able to record at least one more episode before I get too busy and the schedule fills up. And maybe we'll talk about that Florida-Houston game, and
Right.
maybe some more transfer news, or who knows, maybe LeBaron Fallon decides to stay, and
Made in
we can get that much closer to a national title in basketball.
Absolutely.
Pretty much, I think I'm going to end every podcast now imploring Greg Byrne to build the arena.
Build the arena, make it happen. Let's get it done.
Yeah, let's get it done. Keep it done up real good yourselves out there, folks. Greg, buddy, I'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.